Hi guys, so today I'm going to go over the eCart check on functions from last week so that you can look at taking a retake. After you watch this video, then you're going to do some review questions in a Google form. All right, so number one looked like this. Identify 3 points that would be on the line y equals x plus 4. The biggest part about this whole eCart check was understanding this form, y equals mx plus b. The B stands for the y-intercept. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. Wherever the line crosses the y-axis, it will be after, in this form, y equals mx plus b, it'll be after that. So this is the y-intercept is the b. The slope is the m, and it'll always be before that x if it's in this form. There are other forms. But this is the slope, and the slope is always a fraction. It's how much the line is changing up and down, the difference between one point from another going up and down, and the difference between one point from another going left to right. And that's the fraction that makes up slope. So this one wants y equals x plus 4. I always start looking at the y-intercept because I know if it's in this form, then it's really easy to find this crosses the y-axis at positive 4. So this should have been your first point on the line. When there's no number in front of the x, that means that the slope is 1 because there's one x here. Basically, it's just an invisible 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Or you can make them both negative and go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. So the 3 points that you should have identified are right here on this line. Y equals x plus 4. All right, let's look at number 2. Question 2 said that Hannah is 3 years older than her brother Luke. The table below represents this relationship. So whenever Luke is this old, this is how old Hannah is. Hannah graphed the relationship between Luke's age x and her age y, and the y-intercept of this graph is. So you could write the equation that matches this, but really we need to figure out what y would be when Luke wasn't born, basically when Luke is 0. So right now I can see that the x's, if I'm moving this way, they go down 1 each time. Down 1, down 1, down 1. So if I need to go down 1 more to get to 0, now let me figure out what the relationship over here is doing. So it looks pretty easy on this side too. It looks like this is also going down 1 and down 1 and down 1. So when I want to know the y-intercept, I just need to know what the y is when x equals 0. And that's why I'm just trying to figure out this relationship. So if I need to go down 1 here, then I need to go down 1 on the y. So when Luke is not born or 0, Hannah is 3. So there was a lot of different answers you guys could have put for this. You could have put it like this and it would have accepted it correct. I think this was correct. With no comma was correct. Just the number 3 was correct if you spell the number 3. So they took a lot of different answers for this one. The ordered pair probably would have been the best, but they accepted any of these as an answer. That's the y-intercept of that table. All right, question 3 said identify the y-intercept of the line y equals x minus 3. Y equals x minus 3. The y-intercept is always, if it's in this form, it's always after the x. So the minus 3 is down here. And that's all you had to do for this one. Identify the y-intercept of where this crosses the y-axis. So if you had put this one right here, if you selected this one, that's the x-axis. This is not the x-axis. This is where this line crosses the y, which is right here. All right, next question. Identify 2 points that would make a line passing through that point and has a slope of 2. So here's A, and it's at -2, -3 on our graph, and it has a slope of 2, which if it's just 2, that means that it's 2 over 1. Like that's our change. So the 2 is our change going up, and the 1 is our change going to the right. So I'm going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1 to get to the next point on the line. So up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. That's the slope that they told us in the problem. So I went up 2 and right 1. If it's just a 2, you're not going to put a 1. So if the slope was 1/2, that would make it, I think, to those other points. Up 1, right 2. Remember that the top number is the change in the y, which is up and down number. So this one would go up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. So the slope for this line would be 1/2. The slope for this line is 2. It's steeper. It's okay. Okay, so then our next question. Oh, hold on. I'm just doing a video. It's okay. I'm just doing a video. All right. So which equation correctly represents the graph? So this crosses the y-axis at 0. See it right there. So I know that when I write the equation for this, it's not going to have anything after the x. It would be +0, and +0 is nothing. That's where it crosses the y-axis at 0. So it's not going to have the +0. Now I need to figure out the slope. So I'm going to look for another point on the line that crosses the grid lines, like right there. And so this one will go up 1, 1, 2, 3, and right 4. Up 1, right 4. So the slope has to be 1/4. And it's a positive slope, and this is, right, the puff positive guy going up the hill. Okay, I think last question. This graph shows the relationship between hours driven and miles traveled. Hours are at the bottom, the miles traveled are here. So after 1 hour, so the hours are the x, or the input. So after 1 hour, he went 60 miles. After 2 hours, he went 120. After 3 hours, he went 180. So which statement best describes this relation? The number of hours driven equals the distance traveled. The number of hours, does that equal the miles? No. Totally different numbers, right? The distance traveled in miles equals the number of hours driven multiplied by 60. The distance traveled in miles, okay, so that's this. Does that equal the number of hours driven multiplied by 60? Does 1 times 60 give me 60? Yes. Does 2 times 60 give me 120? Yes. This equals, right, basically the y equals 3 times whatever the x is. The C said the number of hours driven equals the distance traveled in miles multiple. Okay, so this one says the number of hours driven. So this one was confusing. C was, I think, the other tricky one. The number of hours driven equals the distance traveled in miles multiplied by 60. So does this equal 60 times 60? That's what this one is asking. The number of hours driven equals the distance multiplied by 60. No, this would be 360, and that's why it's not that one. All right, guys, I hope this helped. I'm going to have you answer a Google form with a couple questions just asking what you did wrong on the first time you think before you can do the retake. Retakes will be done and the next learning seminar we have, which for you guys is this Friday. So if you watch this video and answer the questions in the Google form, you can do the retake if you feel ready on Friday. All right, guys, hope that helped.